Benvenuti di nuovo a una puntata di 724 Europa, grazie per il consenso, l'ascolto, per seguirci, per inviarci messaggi, fatelo davvero perché soprattutto le critiche ci aiutano molto a fare il nostro lavoro. Oggi abbiamo un ospite di tutto rispetto perché abbiamo Lidia, Borrel, Damian. Bienvenida. Hablamos un poquito en castellano y después switchamos en inglés.
De acuerdo.
Que es el nuevo secretario general de Science Europe.
Sí.
Science Europe is a very huge association based on research and innovation in Europe. So, enhorabuena.
Gracias.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Complimenti.
Grazie.
Your challenge started last September 16, I
Yes.
guess.
Yes.
So it's quite new. It's a very new experience. Great energy, I think, I wonder,
Yes.
and passion. So your goals to renew this pact for innovation and research in Europe are very, very important, even for the budget that we receive from the European institutions. So what do you think about the future and the science Europe future in the next weeks?
Well, as you said very rightly, I started 16 days ago, so it's not much that I can say. However, Science Europe is not unfamiliar to me because I was a director at the European University Association, and both organizations are partners, are stakeholders in advising the European Commission, the European Parliament, the European institutions in providing their respective views. So I already knew many of the colleagues in Science Europe and the president and the board members of Science Europe. So it's a new experience, but it's not so new to me.
So new expectation from your side, from the Science Europe members and stakeholders.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, my job will be to ensure that all the members of Science Europe feel well represented, first of all, before the EU institutions.
I wonder, very satisfied to receiving services, consultancy, and something like that.
Yes, exactly. And also to find out new ways of contributing to the societal challenges, to the grand societal challenges. So my intention will be to develop more platforms for these actors to be connected, to discuss intensely the issues at stake, the debate, what is research for, what is the impact of research in society, to make that as a hub for discussion and generation of new ideas, and of course input to the European project.
Lydia, could you shortly describe who is Science Europe,
yes.
just to understand exactly what kind of profiles?
We have the major research funding agencies at national level and major research performing institutes. So like Max Planck Institute is a member, Leibniz Association is a member.
How many countries you represent?
We have 37 members from 28 countries.
Okay.
But these 28 are not necessarily EU.
Okay.
We have non-EU countries as well.
Because coming from other countries?
Yes.
For example, like
Switzerland, Norway, Iceland.
Or Israel, it could be? No.
Israel is not a member.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
So these countries are a member of Science Europe, and they ask you, for example, to investigate about the new framework of the research and innovation as Horizon 2020, right?
Of course, Horizon.
This is the main goals?
Is one of the main goals. The framework program is always a priority for Science Europe because it is the agency providing funds for EU-wide research. So this is the main one of the main priorities for us. And as such, we contribute to all dialogues regarding what is called the realization of the European research area.
Okay.
An open labor market for researchers, the sharing of research results through what is now called open science, the research infrastructures, the use of research infrastructures, the effectiveness of national funding systems, because here in Europe that's what we work with, a balance of investment between EU
and what is the first line of the new frontier about your efforts as a Science Europe? For example, nanotechnology, blockchain, climate change,
Well, at the moment, precisely, we are...
Artificial intelligence application,
yes,
for example.
Artificial intelligence for sure.
Yeah.
I think
It's very brand new topic.
Yeah, artificial intelligence, of course. We take part in all legal developments that affect research. For example, the genome regulation.
Okay.
Just
to create an harmonization of law in Europe, for example, in this sector.
Harmonization, but also so that the legislation allows freedom of research.
Okay.
At the same time. It protects the society, but at the same time allowing freedom of research. Another example of legislative development is the copyright regulation. Okay. So we worked for exceptions for research purposes, because these were very important to not to be super protected.
Lydia, lately Science Europe have a serious problem about the budget that coming from the European institutions is too low for the research, and you pretend, obviously, to increase this kind of budget. It will be possible with the new European Commission, in your opinion?
That's the 1 million question.
Good point.
Well, certainly the Commissioner-designate Maria Gabriel yesterday gave an excellent responses to the questions by the Parliament and really defended the higher budget for Horizon Europe, the next framework program. And we are fully behind that. Science Europe issued a statement last week, also in support of the views of the Parliament, that will not only ask for an enlarged budget, but also to prevent the cuts that have been announced for the last year of Horizon 2020. So we think that it is very important that all the research stakeholders constitute a common front to advocate for more funds for research.
Horizon 2020 will change the name, right? Horizon Europe, it could be?
Well, is that we have now at the crossroads of two developments.
Because
one is the last year of Horizon 2020.
Yes.
And the budget is being discussed now, because every year you have a discussion on the budget for the next year. And at the same time, we are discussing the budget for the next multi-annual financial framework, which is Horizon Europe. And both things coexist now.
Okay, Lydia, just a personal curiosity. 5G, for example, is part of Science Europe, or the effect of, for example, health throughout 5G is included in some research or innovation programming for Science Europe?
In the funders in Research Europe and the performers, I think, cover a very broad spectrum of research.
Transversal.
So exactly. Fields. So I'm sure that they are working on everything, 5G, and on possible health consequences of.
The last thing, you are, because you're coming from Spain, and in Spain this kind of topic is well known and is very strong. The gender balance. Gender balance and the opportunity to give gender equality during the jobs, many researcher, for example, and because you need money just to investigate, just to obtain results. It's not easy, for example, in Italy, the people suffering a lot in this sense. So how much is important this aspect in your job, in your new job, in your mission as a Science Europe?
Well, is essential, because I think that the future of research is also conditioned to the enhanced participation of women in science. And in Science Europe has been discussing gender issues for many, many years now. Back in 2017, they issued a set of guidelines, and we are now precisely analyzing the sometimes unconscious biases in assessing the research outcomes of female and male researchers for career promotion. There are a number of videos in YouTube showing how even women unconsciously have biases when judging the work of
in the
researchers,
importance to cross even the competence and the education.
Absolutely,
I guess.
Absolutely. I think it's very important to start very early in the education of the children very, very early to make them realize that men and women all have the same rights.
For sure, Lidia, the question of climate change has changed the idea and the paradigm in the mind of the people about the situation and the efforts that we need to put just to realize a very great result. So, Lidia, congratulations again.
Thank you.
We are more than convinced that you will give all for your association and very important stakeholders.
Sure.
Thank you to come here and to describe the Science Europe to our audience in Italy. Thank you so
very
much.
For having me invited.
Grazie ai nostri telespettatori che ci hanno seguito, è un altro esempio d'Europa e vedremo ovviamente altre novità nelle prossime puntate della nostra trasmissione. Arrivederci.